Hey guys, welcome back to the Faith is Motivation podcast. Here on this podcast, we look to inspire people in motivation, finance, fitness, and overall happiness. Let's roll the intro.
Need to set a standard that I am going to be the best version of myself for me. I am going to be happy for me. I am going to create the life I want to live for me.
And success definitely doesn't come without adversity. There's going to be challenges. There's always challenges. You have to overcome them or you're just going to be weak. You can't just let them define you.
You have to change that mentality of want to need. That's the one thing I had to change was it's not I want this stuff, it's I need this stuff.
You've reached the point where you think you deserve a better life. Now is the time to change for the better.
And we are back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. I am one of your hosts, Darian Hawkins. I am a real estate agent, basketball coach, factory worker, a little bit of everything. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram at DeHawk40. I may be back on Instagram by the time this episode comes out. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. But you can go ahead and follow me at DeHawk40, and that's Instagram and Twitter, and then Facebook, Darian Hawkins Agent. Seth?
Seth DeBrulette. I am an upcoming real estate agent / investor, work in a factory, and obviously the podcast. And then I have Instagram. It's just Seth DeBrulette, no spaces, nothing like that. You can find the spelling of my last name on the podcast, of course.
And then what you'll notice is we have someone new with us. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself, but he's been a part of our team for a while, and he's someone that's kind of a part of our circle, and he's helped us out a lot. And we have nothing but respect and admiration for him. David, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is David Southgate. I'm not going to plug any of my socials. I don't have any public socials yet. It's all private stuff. But I just work full time, delivering for Sherwin-Williams. No, I can't say their name, can I?
Yeah, you can. It's fine. We say Toyota all the time.
I deliver paint. Hauling paint buckets around. It helps that I'm between gyms right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Darian's been my homie for the last, 12 years?
Since high school, freshman year. I mean, it's math.
Since fall of 2011.
Yeah, 2011. What is it? 2023?
So it will be.
Yeah. 12 years.
12 years
this year. 12 years this year. Yes.
Dang, it's been 12 years.
Hey, shit. I'm old, bro. Seth. Hey, listen. You know when we met, Seth was like 7. He's like, "How old are you?"
Bruh. I was 18. I was a fat ass.
You was not 18 with me. With me and David in 2011.
Oh, when you guys met, bro.
Yeah.
Shit. Math.
20. 12 years ago. You're 20 now. So 8.
We're trying to lead you in your finances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So moving on with announcements. What you guys will notice is from this point forward, Chris is no longer with us. He's no longer on our team. Still a really good friend of mine. I've said it multiple times. Me and Chris we've known each other for years, and we're going to continue being best friends until the end of time. He just decided to go in a different direction to lead a different path, which is perfectly fine with us. We support him in everything he does, and hopefully he's still out there. He's still going to be out there making changes for the world and doing the best for himself possible. You may see him here and there on our YouTube channel, maybe on our TikTok. I don't know. But, he's still around. It's just, he doesn't want to move forward with the podcast. And that's something that, we're okay with. And, we support him in everything. So this episode, we are actually going to be talking about, your social circle and the importance of it. And we're going to do that through kind of I'm not cutting that out, by the way. And we're going to kind of do that. Through discussing our social circle and the things that we see that's important, and having this discussion, I think, can help us kind of move forward. Obviously, there's more than just us three, right? But we're the 3 that's here. Another thing is we're sitting live, right? So we've made a lot of improvements. We made a lot of upgrades. We do not have our studio done, but we're still working on that. I kind of set a new deadline for us, and we'll discuss that later. But, this is kind of like our trial live with like the new mixer and the microphones and all that, and kind of being together and seeing how it works. And I think it's actually going to work out way better than last time.
And also, since we're live, there's probably not going to be many cuts. So if there's parts that are kind of whack, just don't pay attention.
There's nothing's going to be whack. Listen,
Yeah, it's
Other
gonna
than
be
David
awesome.
pouring water on himself.
I mean, that's comedy. And I'm listen, I'm not going to lie. When I edit,
I'll be smooth. I tried to just be like, fudge.
listen, when I edit, I'm probably going to zoom in on that part.
No,
I'm not going to lie to you. I think it'd be good.
I'm human.
But yeah, I don't think we have any more announcements. Oh, we'll start doing our on street interviews soon. I think we're going to try to start that back up March, April,
Bro,
maybe.
our weather is whack. If it starts warming up, like going back into the 70s like it was the other day, yes, for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, it should by the end.
We just never get that lucky on a weekend.
That's true. Near the end of March, we should be okay though.
See,
Yeah, I
but
think-
Kentucky has like those 8 fake springs before
Yeah.
it actually becomes spring.
I mean, it was like 70 last week, and now it's like below. Now it's like below 40. It's like 35, 34 today.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, Kentucky's wild. You ever move to Kentucky? Just expect the weather to be absolute shit.
If you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes.
Facts. Big facts.
Pretty much.
Big facts. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the show. I think we've dicked around enough. So the first question I would ask you guys is, what is the ideal social circle? How would you create the ideal social circle? Who does it consist of? How do the people interact? Just the details of that.
So, ideal social circle, everybody is just always going to help improve each other, whether they have to criticize them really heavily and be harsh, or if they just have to be uplifting. Like, if somebody's slacking super hard and you have to dog on them, but, there's other people take criticism in different ways, and that's okay. But you just have to get to know them, obviously, and they're going to be in your social circle, so you will. But you get to know them, you help them out in whatever way you can, and that's that.
100%. David?
The ideal social circle is probably one of like minds, at least with alike goals. So we all want to improve. We all want to get better in our finances, in our health, in our fitness, in our motivation. That's the whole point of this podcast. That's the point of our group, really. That's how the podcast got started. We don't have to think or act exactly the same. You don't have to search for clones of yourself to have the ideal group, because you want a group that will challenge you, a group that will square up to you when you're wrong. Not physically, but maybe sometimes, I guess. But you just want to have that trust together. You want a common vision for the future. You can't have anybody that starts drama be in your inner circle. You can't have anybody that doesn't want the best for you in your inner circle. Your ideal social group is one that is made up of people that want to build you up and not tear you down, people that you can trust in, that when you're lost and you need a little bit of guidance, or you have something on your mind about your future and you're unsure of how solid that foundation would be if you were to step on it, you can bounce it off your friends and say, hey, I've been thinking about this opportunity. What do you guys think? And you'll get actual feedback that is positive and productive, instead of just a criticism by a hater that gives no help.
I mean, that kind of brings us back to the whole Chris thing being gone. Like, when he stopped doing this, like, of course, he's still a part of us.
Yeah.
And we're still going to support him and all that. So this brings us back, like, exactly what you're saying.
100%. I wasn't thinking about him when I said that, but
Yeah.
No.
I think you said it, yeah.
I mean, I
I saw him just the other week, and, we were able to catch up again. It's just we have conflicting work schedules, and he lives kind of far away and stuff. But other than the stuff in our personal lives, like, we're still homies, even if we don't see each other every day or every week. We're
right.
still homies.
I think everybody should make time, though. Like, you should definitely try and make time for your friends. A lot of people don't do that, and that's why they break. But
Especially if you're extroverted. You have to have that time with your people.
Yeah. I mean, I think people that hold you accountable, people that allow you to prosper and that I think it's really important to have people around you that's going to get on you when you fail to perform, because like reality is tough. Reality is tough. And like the toughest thing about reality is it doesn't hit you until your worst moment, right? So a lot of people, they kind of live their life in like this fantasy world, doing whatever the hell they want to, making bad decisions. And then eventually reality comes and it's like, bang, right? And then having good friends there that can remind you, listen, this is a dark path. You're going down the dark road, and be honest with you about it. Because a lot of people, they like to, oh, you can do whatever you want and your reality and all this bullshit. But, there's one truth that the world abides by, right? There's no your reality, my reality. We all live in reality, right? And having people there to remind you that, hey, realistically, you're not living optimally. You're making mistakes. You're messing up. There's things you could be doing better. Having people around you to tell you that and be honest and be straight up with you on that. I think that's really important. I think that's the thing that a lot of people lack. And then when it comes to making time for your friends, I'm 100% behind that. I think it's important to be able to see your friends, every now and then, every couple of months. I think that, definitely you can have kind of long distance friendships, especially friendships.
Oh yeah.
But it is important to keep up some line of communication at all times to, maintain that bond and keep that bond. And I know, like, once it reaches a certain point, you can go 2-3 years without talking to somebody, and you see them and it's just like, it's like you never left. You just click.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's really, really important to have people to hold you accountable. And then people that don't, when you come to them and it's like, hey, I need help, they don't necessarily, bash you for your failures, that they're there to pick you up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they say,
there's a time to critique how you got there, but right now, I need help. Come help me.
100%. And then at the same time, whenever someone does something good, I think this is so important. I think people forget about this. Whenever someone does something good, okay, or whenever your friend comes to you, I don't give a fuck what it is. If they come to you and they say, yo, I just worked an extra 2 hours overtime, and it's going to pay me a little extra money to help me with my bills, you tell them good job for that. Like,
I think celebrate it.
Yeah, I think that's so important to remind your friends that, hey, you're doing great. You're doing good when they're doing good, and you're doing bad when they're doing bad. And I think that's important for the ideal social circle.
So our next question is going to kind of bring us back to the same ideals as what we were just talking about, but like, which I'll answer it first. But it's basically like, what's the most important thing to you guys in like our circle? See, because for me, it kind of brings us back to what we were just talking about. It was like having trust in each other and being confident in each other. Like, no matter what the situation is, you can come to them and you guys are going to work it out, good or bad. That's just kind of like a slim version of it all, but it's up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely important to keep your friends accountable, to hold them accountable, right? We always say that accountability is the first step. Your friends can really help you with that, right? It's a little harder for your friends to help you with discipline, but they can help you stay accountable for your actions and stay accountable for your decisions. And I think that's really important. So I think having friends that hold you accountable, having friends that's willing to support you, having friends that can help you in your endeavors, that's some of the most important things in your social circle that you can have, for sure. Of course.
I mean, having a friend or multiple friends in your social circle that refuse to give up on you. Even when you don't want to go to the gym yourself, like me this morning, I knew that if I showed up in just a pair of jeans, like, oh yeah, I'll film you guys at the gym.
I mean, you would have been working out in jeans, bro. You would have been working out in jeans. We don't do that here.
And we had a day in the gym today. Oh my.
Seth's idea. Full body. That was Seth's idea.
It was crazy.
He's wanting to cut. Yeah.
I'll be sore tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
You know what? That pain is growth, and it's growth that was brought on by the accountability in my friends in my social group. A group that wants to build me up, a group that wants to keep me accountable for drinking water.
Yeah.
On the way back from the gym, I said, Darian, what do you got to drink in your house? He goes, water.
I mean, it's water. I mean, every now and then I have some like orange juice or grape juice or I'll have some
pineapple juice. Mm.
Yeah, I have a problem with soda, with pop, whatever you call it.
He's cutting it. He's cutting it out.
And that's
Cutting
okay.
it out, though.
He's cutting it out. He's cutting it out. But yeah, it's just important to have people hold you accountable. I think that's something most people lack good friends that'll hold them accountable. Most people have yes men in their circle.
Yeah.
Like most people have friends. You will go to them. You'll be like, yo, I just did some wild shit last night. I got super drunk and I drove home and I ran into a tree and the cop showed up and I cussed him out and then I ran away and they're not going to be able to find me. And their friends are going to be like, oh dude, that was like, what the, most of you have those types of friends, have those type of loser friends. They sit around, they smoke weed, they do drugs, they do all this stupid shit. And whenever you do stupid shit, they fucking agree with it as if it's a good thing. And, that's just not the people you want. You want people that when you come to them and you tell them, hey, yo, I just did some stupid shit. They look at you and they're like, yo, that's some stupid shit. You want friends that whenever you're sitting there sending fucking pictures of like pop and all this unhealthy shit in the group message that say, yo, don't do that. Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit.
I mean, you guys can drink pop, but just
okay
don't
to
like
drink
if you
pop.
don't want to drink it, like if you want to stop drinking it, just stop drinking it. That's like our thing.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It's not even about the pop, really. It's about, the goal of
like disciplining
this
yourself.
thing has power over me, and I have a goal to not let it have power over me anymore. And I need people, because I'm not strong enough to do it on my own. I need other people to check in on me, keep me accountable, and say, hey, did you have an L8 today? It's like,
Yeah.
no.
Hey, bro. One of the hardest things is
I had a cherry L8.
one of the hardest things.
Yeah, don't be a smart aleck when it comes to your friends keeping you accountable. You can dog on each other all day long, but like when it comes to the people that you trust, don't be dishonest with them. Don't be dishonest with yourself. That's the first step of changing and setting any goal. Is you have to be honest, see yourself where you're at, and say, okay, I am not okay right now. What would make things okay right now? Set that goal. Find yourself a good, honest, positive, accountable group that will check you because they care enough about you to say, I want you to be better, so I'm going to check on you. Every now and then, that's what Darian does. That's what Seth does with me.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like you have to have that confidence and trust in yourself. Like if you can't be confident in yourself, it's going to be hard for your group to like trust you. Period.
And I think if you have a group of upstanding people, and when you have a group and you have people around you that have high standards, one of the hardest things to do is to go to them and say, yo, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's so like, it's so hard. And then that it's also the same when you have a high standard on yourself. So like, one thing with me is like, I'm very adamant on telling you guys, hey, I did this, I got this, I did this, I'm working on this, I succeeded at this.
Mhm.
So if I fail and I have to come to you guys and be like, yo, I didn't go to the gym for a week, I would feel like shit.
Darian is like,
I would be like, I hold because I've put myself in this position to where now my standard is here. Right. So, and I'm not saying that I stay here all the time. Right. Like there's times when I fall down, but here's the thing. When I fall down, there's a punishment there. I'm ashamed. I feel bad. Right. I have to face you guys and tell you, yo, I fucked up. Right. Mm-hmm. So there's a punishment for my failure. A lot of people don't have punishment for their failure. Like I was talking about earlier, a lot of you fucking fail. And then you go to your friends and they fucking, it's okay. It'll be okay. You'll do better. Like some stupid shit.
It'll be fine if you don't do the shit again.
Yeah.
But that's one of the worst things that we're telling young people today is you're okay the way you are.
Facts.
When I was struggling to find a purpose and a vision for my future back in college, and they said, it's okay if you don't have it all figured out. What do you mean it's okay to not have?
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, yeah, your goals, your career, everything can change every now and then, but to say you're okay right now that you're lost, you're okay right now that you're unmotivated and undisciplined, it's okay that you're not doing your homework, I was on a self-destructive path, and people were saying it's okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, and
It's not okay.
I think Jordan Peterson talked about that. Like, it's never like
It was Jordan Peterson. He said if someone is lost, aimless, hopeless, the worst thing you can say is that you're okay the way you are. No, it's the only way that you're okay is in your potential to be okay. Things can be better. If you were to clean up your act a little bit, take care of yourself like you're someone worth caring for, imagine the possibilities in front of you. It could be exponentially better. Who knows how much better it could be? But it won't be if you're just going to be complacent in mediocrity. Are you going to care enough about yourself and be open? This was a big thing that hit me this week, was I wasn't ready to change certain aspects of my life and to give up that control or lack thereof until I was open to the possibility that my life could be better, that there was a better plan for me. You know, I'm a Christian. I believe that in the scriptures, it says that God has a plan for me. And I reached the end of me, myself, and I in full control. And I did not want to live anymore. We've touched on episodes of depression and stuff before, but I reached that point and I said, okay, God, I am here and I'm not okay. I don't like how I'm living. It is awful. It is horrible. You claim to have a better plan for me in multiple scriptures. I've gone to church my whole life, but never fully gave my life to you. And I'm still learning what that means, but I had to be open to a possible better future. I had to have the hope for a better future so that I could actually strive toward it. Since then, my life's been getting a lot better. I mean, if we flash back to December 31st of 2021, we had a New Year's party right here.
Mm-hmm.
And right at that table over there, Darian, you were asking us about our New Year's resolutions. What are we doing this year, boys?
Yeah, New Year. I think I said resolutions, but
Was
it's more
I
like
here?
no,
I don't think I
2021.
was here. Oh,
Yeah,
It was.
I was.
It was. It's more in line of New Year's goals for this year.
Right. What was the goals for this year? It wasn't resolutions because
Right.
everybody drops those at February 18th. Let's be real.
David, back to like what you were saying, like, you know, being Christian and then like talking about like there's always new plans. That brings me to like one of my favorite quotes out of the Bible. It's Isaiah 43:18/19. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? That's one of my favorite ones.
That's the truth.
I like to like think back on that.
Yep. You can't be lost in the past, but I'm bringing up that New Year's because 6 months later it was June of 2022, and I was staring all of those goals in the face, making zero headway in them, financially, fitness, everything. I made zero headway, and I felt so much weight on myself because I knew if I came to Darian with that right now,
Yeah,
he's gonna eat me alive.
Yeah, and then like for beginning of this year, into last year, when you were coming, like you were in kind of a bad place when we started talking about that, and then you came back to us. You were like, "Man, guys, sorry. Like, you know, my answers were terrible. I didn't get my goals last year, so I'm not gonna hit them this year." And now it's changed, but like again, back to that quote: "New things."
Yeah, new things.
Don't dwell on the
Plans I
past.
have for you to give you a hope in the future.
Yeah.
Not to harm you. That's paraphrased out of Philippians 4. One of the verses in Philippians 4.
100%. All right. Do you want to continue with your question, David?
My question. What was my question?
I
remember
right.
this one.
I have no idea.
I kinda touched on
Your
it.
question.
I kind of touched on it a little bit already, but so what has impacted you most in being part of a social group like this tribe?
For me, it was just like my previous social circles. I never had like even like a decent one.
No,
The social
positive
circles-
support or anything?
Well, like I had positive support,
Mhm.
but
in the wrong
support
behaviors.
in the wrong ways. You know, like no shame on my past friends, but like you know, I never had nothing like these guys. Like, I was never pushed to be better. It was just like, you know, yeah, we love you, man. Blah blah blah. Let's go fucking get drunk.
I wouldn't even call
Like
that
all the
support.
time. It's just like, you know, it's just, this is so different, and it was so new to me when I first met you, Darian, and like met you, David. Like, it was such a new thing to me to see true like friendship, true trust, and true confidence in each other, and like you guys truly like trying to build me up, and it changed my life. It changed my life in like a year, you know, like I'm a completely different person than I used to be. And coming from like a non like really good, supportive and trustworthy like friendships I had in the past, this is just has been amazing to me.
I think I mean, it's definitely helped me keep myself accountable. So I listened to Eric Thomas, and this,
E.T.
yeah, this was a while back ago, and he was giving a speech, and he was talking about how you need to tell somebody that's going to hold you accountable of your goals, right? Because if I mentally say, if I mentally, like, let's go back to when I wanted to become a real estate agent. If I mentally said, well, I'll become a real estate agent, and I just told myself and I just kept that to myself, there's no one to hold me accountable, right? But if I come to you guys and I say, hey, I'm going to be a real estate agent, 7 months goes by, I'm not a real estate agent. Hey, Darren, are you still going to be a real estate agent? Like,
You having trouble in your studies? Like, is there anything I can do to help you?
Yeah, like there's going to be something there that keeps me focused. So I say, you know what? I'm going to be a real estate agent in March. I become a real estate agent in March. I said it. Like I told you guys, and that in and of itself kind of holds me accountable. And I think something that we've kind of not like really talked about is your best memories, the best time of your life is going to be with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it was, I think
one picture on the wall.
Yeah. Like I think it was, Justin Waller that said he would rather be in Indiana with nothing with his boys than be in the greatest country in the world by himself. Because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to build your memories. That's where you're going to have the best time of your life, right? We can literally sit in my house and do nothing but shoot the shit for an hour, 2 hours. And that's going to be more fun than anything, than sitting there playing video games by myself, than anything, going out by myself. Like anything I do by myself is going to be better with people. It doesn't matter if I have a mansion with all these fast cars and all these, you know, all this luxurious shit, big ass TVs, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be fun, right? Like if I go out of the country by myself, it's not going to be as fun as going out of the country with my boys, right? So I think that it's really created bonds and it's really created memories. And sometimes we kind of send like videos from like Snapchat in our Snapchat group from like years ago, and I sit there and I watch them. I'm like, you know what? Even we sent one not too long ago, and and honestly, it was probably at one of my worst times mentally.
Yep.
Right, it was at one of my lowest peaks. But in that moment, when I'm with my boys, when I'm with my guys, it's like all the troubles are away, and I'm genuinely happy. Right, you're genuinely happy with your boys, and you genuinely create memories that will last forever. Right, it's one of the most important things you can do, because the present no longer matters in the future unless it's a memory.
Yeah, I mean, like
It was a great memory and a great night until somebody's cat attacked you.
Yeah.
Well, like you mentioning those videos and like what you were just saying, it was weird because, you know, I obviously didn't like know you guys back then, but I saw those videos and I seen you in those videos, and you just, it didn't even sound like you. Like it didn't sound like true happy Darian. And there's a completely, like when you talk now and hearing you talk in those videos was like completely different person.
I mean, I'll say that my confidence is crazy now. Like back then, I had no confidence, but you know what? After listen, let me go ahead and get off topic. After you pull yourself out of the bottom of the fucking bottom, after you beat your depression, after you beat your demon with, and then, you know, I kind of have a weird thought on like actually defeating your demons. I think you just grow bigger than them. I think you, like, what you go through will always stay with you. Like, those struggles will always stay with you. You just become bigger than them struggles. Therefore, you conquer them. You overcome them.
David Goggins calls those his they're like memories of conquering stuff. He calls it his cookie jar. Whenever he's feeling like something in front of him's too big, he pulls out his cookie jar and he's like, "Oh yeah, I went through 3 hell weeks."
Right? Yeah, yeah. Like
I ran a 100-mile marathon in like 19 hours with no training and no nutrition as a bodybuilder.
Listen, David Goggins is different. There's something wrong with that man. It's
That's
good.
the thing.
It's
He
good.
didn't start built different. He built different.
Yeah, yeah. But like, I think once you come out of those dark places, once you come out of those hard times, and you genuinely conquer them, and you get to a point to where you're mentally stable and you've grown and you're stronger than everything, your confidence shoots. You become fucking arrogant. You become like, there is nothing in the future that can happen to me that I can't overcome. Right? They could come right now, put me in fucking handcuffs and take me to jail and tell me I'm going to be in jail for 25 years. I will laugh in their face and be like, okay, bet.
On false charges.
Yeah, on false charges. I will laugh in their face and be like, okay, bet, whatever. Like, it wouldn't matter because I've already conquered everything. Like, there's not like, okay, so I go to jail, I'm going to get out. Like, nothing's going to stop me. Like, you're not going to like put me in there. And even if I do, okay, well, you're in there forever. Okay, cool. I've been through worse. Right? Like, I've been like, jail, you get 3 square meals a day, the lights are on, like, I slept in my fucking car. Right? Like what are you gonna do to me? What's gonna happen? Oh, Darren, you gotta be homeless, your car broke down. Well, that's cool. Homeless shelter got lights. I don't like, there's nothing that can defeat me now. I have this arrogance, and then if I do hit the bottom, since I've already came out of there once, I can do it again.
Right. I mean, just imagine when you have conquered all of those things and you've faced the worst enemy, which is yourself, and
100%.
you won. There's nothing in this world that can harm you. There's nothing in this world that can stand against you. Scripture says that when God's on your side, nothing can stand against it because he's too powerful. And I believe that to be truth, but it's also about God's promise that he delivered you from the things of your past, and he gives you that strength. So I think God gave you those trials, those tribulations for you to conquer. And now there's nothing on this world that can touch you. You have found peace in your work ethic, in your strength, in the conditioning of your mind, as well as your body. You are fortified and certified. Bonafide.
You know, I actually love that. I get behind that a lot. I think like one of the biggest questions you get when you're speaking religion and someone's asking about, well, if there really is a higher power, if there really is a God, why did he allow so much turmoil? Well, I mean, as people, that's how we grow. That's how we become. That's how we become great. If we were never challenged, if there was no challenge, we wouldn't have the inventions we have today. We wouldn't have the light bulb. We wouldn't have the architecture we have. We wouldn't have any. If there was no challenge, if there was no struggle, the world wouldn't be as magnificent as it is today, right? So we need those struggles. If God took away the struggle, there would be no growth. There would be no advancement. There would be no moving forward as people. And if God loves us truly, and he wants us to be the best we can be. We cannot be the best we can be if he took away the struggle. Mm-hmm. It would be impossible. We could not become our best self if he took away the struggle. So, again, anytime you go through hard times, anytime you go through struggle, understand that you will come out the other end stronger. Mm-hmm. You will grow from that. Grow through what you go through.
Mm-hmm. Jordan Peterson would put it as pick up your damn cross and bear it.
Yeah.
And walk uphill.
100%.
The point is to find the ideal and strive toward it, picking up your responsibility and taking care of yourself and the people around you.
Yeah, 100%. Any other points on that one? Okay. I know we kind of got off topic, but
off topic because we were talking about how we were impacted by the group.
Yeah, but that's how podcast goes. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is how it is. So the next question is I'm on the wrong page.
Oh no, gravity works.
It sure does. So the next question is
Gravity don't affect Darian.
I'm so
There's
glad
nothing
Isaac.
to hold him down.
I'm so glad Isaac Newton invented gravity, dude. I'm so glad.
Technically,
Okay,
it was the
so-
apple that hit him that invented it.
We'd be screwed if he didn't invent gravity, bro.
Yeah, but think about it. Nothing would hold us down.
Right.
so
Why did I just punch my joke?
so I'll go ahead and ask this. How do we inspire each other? How do we
I
push
would
each other
say,
to grow and become better?
I would say everybody does it in different ways. Like, I would say Darian, you're more in a like fucking dog him till they do it kind of vibe. And then David's more of like a uplifting, like, you got this, man, blah, 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 blah.
Good cop.
Really, really, really uplifting. Yeah, good cop, bad cop kind of, but like it's all pushing towards like the same like good thing, but like you do it in different ways. Like if I fuck up, Darian's gonna be like, "Yo, you're a piece of shit." Blah, blah, blah. He's gonna dog me, and
I
and
well,
David,
I might say that, but more akin, and I'm sure you guys understand this, but just to make it clear, it's not you're a piece of shit. It's more like you're acting like a piece of shit.
yeah,
It's
and
a
like-
wake up call. It's
Right.
like, what are you doing? And
Yeah.
it makes us go like, what am I doing?
yeah, and then David,
Oh, I'm doing something bad. I'm being unproductive.
and then
My
and then
goals.
and then David will say something like, don't let it be a failure. You
Don't let this.
you got
keep you from
this. Don't let it
progress.
keep you
Yeah.
down. He's not going to say it's okay because, like we just said, that you don't do that. But
Like,
You know,
okay,
he's
Darian
just
just
more
gave you the wake
uplifting.
up call. Now, what are you going to do?
yeah,
You can't sit there ignorant anymore. What are you going to do about this thing?
I think personally, and I've kind of went back and forth. I think a lot of times I can be extremely tough. I think a lot of times I can be extremely hard on you guys. But at the end of the day, man, it's kind of made me realize that I really don't have pussies around me. Like I really don't, because the way I've lit into some of you guys, and you guys were able to kind of take it and say, you know what, it's out of love, right? And at the very end, and then like I don't even expect you guys to always agree with what I'm saying, right? But at the end of the day, that it's out of love, and it's not harmed our friendship. It's not harmed our circle. If anything, I think it's made it close. It's made us closer. And I respect the hell out of that, man. Like I really do. Like a lot of people, a lot of you guys listening to this podcast, a lot of you guys watching this podcast, you guys are straight pussy. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be honest, right? There's a saying out there. It says if 100 men go to war, okay, 10% shouldn't be there.
Yep.
80% are target practice. 9% are soldiers, or 9% do most of the work, and then one
Is a warrior.
is a warrior, right? So out of 100 people listening to this podcast, most of you guys are straight pussies. Most of you guys are target practice, and about 10% of you guys, you what the fuck are you even doing, right? So if you guys were in my circle, and I was to tell you, hey, you're acting like a piece of shit, you're not doing anything with your life, you're not moving forward, you're not working, you're sitting around on your ass, fucking chasing this, I'm working on this, and I've been doing this for like 10 years, and I'm gonna be like, yo, you're a fucking bitch, you're not doing shit, you're not working on anything, you're not becoming better. If I talk to you guys the way I've talked to these guys, you guys would be like, you know what, Darian's a fucking asshole, I don't want to be.
We're going to cancel him.
Yeah, Darian's an asshole. I don't want to be around him. He's acting like a mother. And you guys,
the asshole.
you guys, and most of you would just wouldn't be around me. You would just leave. You would say, you know what, whatever. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and then 50 years would go by, and you'd be like, oh, I'm nowhere in life.
yeah.
I didn't reach anywhere. I didn't get anywhere. And you guys couldn't take it. Most of you guys couldn't take it, right? these guys sitting at this table, and even some of them that's not here today, have proven that they are strong, have proven that they are strong-willed, have proven that they are hard workers, have proven that they can take constructive criticism, have proven that they can hear a harsher version of the truth and take it and kind of run with it. And that's something I can respect and admire. And that's something I respect and admire because, I mean, it's literally proven to me that I'm not surrounded by pussies. Like, I'm surrounded by strong people who are willing to do better, who are willing to listen. Now, maybe not the first time, maybe not the second time, but they are willing to at least hear the words and say, you know what? It's out of love. I'm not going to take this personally. Right. And then again, there's always David there to kind of, I guess, soften the blow.
I don't really soften the blow. It's just
Make it more uplifting.
it's a way for the message to get in without causing blunt force trauma to the outside. Like, Darian will hit you with the bat of truth, and I'll be like, "You realize why you picked the bat up in the first place?" You know, it's like he's not just swinging at you because he's mad at you. He's mad because he wants you to be better. He wants you to do better, and he loves you. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Another piece of scripture that just rings true as a bell. We sharpen each other. Who you have in your circle matters. Who you are in your circle matters. Because if all of us were like Darian and just, you know, constantly criticizing each other of how we could be improving or calling each other out, that would be good for accountability. We would fight a lot.
Yeah.
We have to recognize the love that's there.
Yeah.
If you don't think about why this is being said, then you're just going to take it on the face value and be like, man, Darian was mean to me. Darian was so rude. He didn't have to word it that way. He should have coddled my feelings. Which is something that this Darian would never do. Because the truth can sting. But then when you think about why the truth is being said to you, I can't tell you how many times as a football player or even basketball player, whatever, in the youth leagues, a coach would just dig into me and I would get so frustrated I'd like start to cry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like crying under my helmet, you know, doing the sniffles. And everyone else is like, dude, it's okay. Like, you don't gotta cry. Like, no, you don't understand. Coach tore into me. He's a meanie. He tore into me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why did he tear into me? And, you know, I can't remember which coach it was, but just, you know why he's yelling at you, right? It's because he knows you can do better. You can be better. That's why he's yelling at you.
Right.
If he didn't care about you, he wouldn't even open his mouth.
This can kind of bring us into our next thing, because I think that sometimes like our attributes and the way we treat each other can also be sometimes flawed. Like I think David, I think you're too nice sometimes, of course.
Sometimes.
Like there's times you're too nice when you just need to be like, hey, you know, shape the hell up. And,
no, it's true. I can be too agreeable.
And like Darian, sometimes you're not
just
as straight
was.
up as you need to be. Like usually you're pretty straight up, but there's times like you ain't. You know, like there's times where I think you just get lazy and you're like, I really don't want to tear into him right now, but
I think
there's some things you need to work on sometimes. Like sometimes you need to be more straight up and shit. But like what do you guys think? I'm sure I know you guys probably have some shit to say about me, of course, but like what do you guys think our like biggest flaws are? Basically.
As a group as a whole,
group, individual, anything.
Yeah, I would say as a group as a whole, I think it's, you know, getting together more. I think that I think one thing that we really, really need is I think we all need to sit in the same room, like soon. Like all
our whole group, not just
six of us
three.
Yeah, 6 of us. You know, we all need to sit in the same room. That's something
really
that I think is a little past due. Personally, I think that every friend group needs that. And then, you know, I'll say this for myself. I guess we talked about this not too long ago. Mm-hmm. I need to start like letting you guys know when I'm struggling.
That's another big thing, because Darian is not a man to admit when he's flawed because he hates it. He cannot admit an L, man. He can't do it. Like even if it's a loss, he'll be like, "It's not even my fault." He'll just like the other day. I went with your parlay on
bro, you're
sports
tripping.
gambling.
You're tripping.
And
Giannis got
he was
hurt,
so
bro.
for sure. He was so for sure. Okay. What about the other two?
Giannis got hurt. I can't help it. James Harden's not a hooper.
That was $625 for the guy. $625, Darian.
Listen, James Harden ain't a hooper, bro. I'm sorry.
No,
I mean it's my fault. I should have put Harden on there.
Harden hit on mine.
Harden hit
On mine, yes, he did.
Okay, DeAndre Ayton's not a hooper, bro. I don't know, bro. Fuck.
I'm not even talking about that one. I'm talking about the $625 one I missed.
Oh, you're talking about Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards and what was his name?
Vucevic.
Vucevic. Yeah, Anthony Edwards and freaking Vucevic, bro. Oh my,
bro. I mean, okay, you know what? Yeah, okay, my fault.
To be fair, it was only $25 I lost, and there was a chance at winning like 600. So, like,
listen, Vucevic and Edwards are usually not. Listen, Anthony Edwards scored 18 in the first quarter, fam.
And then
he ain't ever done that. He ain't ever done that in his career ever.
He had like 14, and then in the second half, he didn't score shit.
No, he didn't. So the third quarter, he scored like. No, I think it was fourth quarter. He scored like 2 points. Second quarter he scored like 2 points. He scored 18 in the first quarter, like 2 points in the second quarter, and then like the third quarter he went off, and then he scored like 4 points in the fourth.
Ladies,
I was like sick, but
this is not a sports podcast.
It's not.
It's not a
but
gambling podcast.
Darian.
No, okay, listen, no, dude, yes, I fucked up your parlay, and I even hold on, pause, because I even came to you and I told you, hey, bro, just do whatever John said. Like, don't listen to me. Do whatever John said. Why not?
After the parlay was
except for the Donovan Mitchell one. Donovan Mitchell needs to go on your parlay, bro.
Donnie, bro,
he needs to go on your parlay.
Ja upset me so much. Ja Morant, he was 6 points. 6 points, bro. Six.
All right. Let's return.
Biggest flaws. Let's go. Let's go, David.
Biggest flaws, man. I get complacent. I just get complacent in my surroundings and whatever I'm doing. If it's low energy, if it's low motivation, I'll sit there. I will ignore something that should be handled, and I will procrastinate. That's one of my absolute biggest flaws. After this podcast today, I got to go home and clean. Something I've been putting off.
Man, me too. I think procrastinating is so easy to do, just for all human beings. You know, everybody in themselves, like everyone procrastinates.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no saying that, but like I'm pretty bad about it. That's just something we all everybody gotta work on, I think. So that's
everybody got to. It's hard. You just have to get into a habit.
Yeah.
If you can make something a habit, then you're not going to procrastinate it. But it has to become a habit first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the barrier that's there,
mm-hmm.
right? Like if you do something the same thing. If you do the same thing every single day and it becomes a habit, you're not going to procrastinate it. Like no one ever procrastinates going to work. I mean, and then obviously there's a
yes, they do.
I can't tell you how many times I was late before this past week, and I was finally on time. Shout out to my boss.
Lame.
What up?
But I mean, it's one of those things. If you can make it a habit, then you don't procrastinate it. You just need to get used to it, get into some type of routine, and then it just gets better.
And it's
but
I have trouble getting started. So what do I do?
Yeah.
I can't remember who I heard this from. Might have been Jordan Peterson, and I'm paraphrasing. But you have to think about how much worse off the future is if you don't tackle this dragon while it's a tiny lizard. If you let it grow into a massive dragon, it's going to eat you.
I mean, the beginning is always the hardest step, just starting. And, like, it may not even be just starting, but, like, right after you start and you're like, damn, this is harder than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
That's when a lot of people quit.
100%.
Kind of like the 500 push-up thing we did. Like,
I did not even start. I said no.
Like we started.
No.
Like I mean, we completed it, but like
we did it.
Like what was said in the video is like a lot of you are going to start it. You're going to do good at the start. You're going to get like 150 in. You're going to be like, damn, and then you're going to quit.
Yeah, you're going to be. That was good.
Like that shit happens. Man.
150, good. Nah, you 500.
Yeah,
you said 500. Do 500.
I mean, we did it. We did it, but like I mean, it's only 500 push-ups. It's not like we don't.
It's
we don't gotta
500 in
brag.
24
We don't
hours.
gotta brag a shit ton, but like, it's
I mean, it's a mental thing. Most people,
500 more than most
like,
people do.
Yeah, like most people, most people would never complete that.
dude. We was we was breaking down at work doing
Yeah, we was in
push-ups.
there. Yeah, we was on break
Like-
doing push-ups.
like the the line would stop and we just get out and
Just get
push
down,
ups.
like, hey, 20 right now. No, I mean, I think like if you can reach a point of accountability to where you simply just say, I'm going to do something and you do it, that's ultimate, right? And that's something I'm really trying to hold myself to. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I really, really try to do it. And I'm trying to watch my language. So if someone asks me to do something and I may not be able to do it, I try to, make it clear not to say, well, I will get it done, because I really want to hold myself to, if I say I will do something, I do it. Right. And I'm trying to get into that habit so that it becomes a habit, so that any point that I would reach where it's okay, well, I'm getting a little complacent, I just need to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this today. And it's done. It's done. I say it's done. Right. So that's something I'm doing to help me with that. So
And when something becomes a habit, it becomes a program that runs in the background. It goes from, I can't remember which hemisphere of the brain it is. It might be the right one, is where your active attention and consciousness is. And then as you're building that habit and doing it over and over again, it then goes into the left hemisphere of your brain, which, makes it so that your breathing is not under your direct control, because your body's just breathing on its own. Or the fact that you don't even think about walking anymore, when at one point we're all little babies that can't walk. We just do it. We hold our balance and we're able to do those things without thinking about it. So the right hemisphere kind of builds that program, and then it ships it over to the left hemisphere, and that's your habit.
Dude, another kind of like random question I want to ask to you two is kind of like,
No.
what, bro? What are you guys most excited about for our future? Like, where do you see us in like 5 years? Like, what are you guys most excited about? And yeah, that's it.
So if we're going short term, because 5 years is short term, I think 5 years from now, we'll all be, well above financially stable. So I think we'll all be traveling the world at that point together. I'm really excited for that. Traveling with friends.
We're doing it this year.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to Greece this year, but like I think like 5 years from now, it'll be like 3 to 4 trips out of the country, with your boys. Maybe we have some businesses together, or we're probably going to start getting into some businesses together. I know we've talked about some things we can do. And then if we're going even further in the future than that, if we're talking 10, 15 years, I think at that point, we'll have families, and I think we'll be extremely well off. So I think even though, most people, when they start getting, early 40s, mid 40s, early 50s, they kind of slow down. I think that will really speed up. Like, I think that's when we're going to be living probably the best years of our life at that point. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, 5 to 15 years from now.
Is that what you're most excited about?
Oh, 100%. I think, being with people who get to travel together, who get to spend time together, who get to raise families together, who have that type of bond. I think that's one of the, best things you can ask for out of life.
I think for me, the excitement is out of just like pure curiosity, because right now, like we have no idea. We just know we're going up, but we have no idea what our lives are going to look like in like 5 years. My excitement comes through that, like
Comes from the potential.
like where are we going to be sitting 5 years from now? And like we're not going to be at this table, like like what the hell are we doing like 5 years from this point right now? That's just crazy to me. Like the curiosity of like, where the hell are we going to be? It's just,
it's insane. It is insane to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, because you never really know.
Okay, so David, do you want to shoot the your second question?
Yeah. So second question would be, what red flags do you need to be weary of when creating your own tribe? So if one of our listeners were to ask you, how do I make my own tribe? What would that look like? And, how would I look out for the red flags of a tribe or the red flags in other people so that I don't bring chaos into this group of accountability and trust?
I would say, of course, the biggest one is, of course, just like first, before anything, is trust and making sure they have confidence in themselves and in you. And like sometimes you have to throw some shit tests in there, but whatever way you can figure it out, just know you can trust them, know they can help you build, like know that just they're not going to put a negative impact on your life. Like you just got to pay attention. There's a lot of things you got to look for. There's little things you got to look for. There's big things. It's just some are obvious and some really aren't. Sometimes you don't see it until like a year after you met the person. There's flaws. There's always going to be, but sometimes you won't see them. You just got to look for all those little things. You got to read people. You got to be good at reading people, I think.
So there's a question I ask most people I meet. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Right. If the answer is, I'm not sure, I'm just kind of going day by day, or if it's something extremely basic, well, I think I'll graduate college by then I'll be looking for a job or I'll have a job. That's a red flag because they have no idea where they're going. Someone who doesn't know where they're going, they don't have a path, right? And if you bring them along, then you're kind of, even if you have a path, if they don't, they're kind of steering you away towards nothing, right? Because they're not going anywhere. So that's one thing. I look for social
Adequacy.
Social adequacy. Yeah. Social adequacy. Make sure that they can, carry a conversation, make sure that they can be clear, make sure that they can speak in some form, make sure they have some form of confidence. Right. And then, I would say someone who has ideals and morals and firm beliefs, right? I think that's something that gets overlooked. We like to get involved with people who are kind of shaky, who have shaky foundations, or who are like open-minded to a lot of ideas. But, it's one thing to be open-minded and to say, okay, well, we can agree to disagree on that. And then it's another thing to just be open-minded and say everything's okay.
You have to stand for something.
Right.
Or you'll fall for anything.
Yeah, that's another big thing is like you got to make sure they stand for what they believe in and they're not just being agreeable and just agreeing with everything you say just because they want to, just because they just want to be liked. They have to like actually stand for it. You have to see that. That's where the trust and the confidence comes in.
And make sure that they have reasoning. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's so, like, it kills me. Like, you'll ask somebody, like, their opinion on something, and they'll give you an opinion. Whether they agree or disagree, that's, like, we can disagree all day. But give me a reason why you think that. Even if I disagree with the reason, don't just say, well, just because. Or don't, like one of the stupidest answers if you're asking about something in, like, from like a societal perspective is when they say, well, it doesn't affect me. People can do whatever they want. Like, that's not a fucking reason. Like, that is not a reason. Like, people, one, you don't believe that. No one believes that people can do whatever they want as long as it doesn't affect them, right? Because if you was driving down the street and you've seen someone get stabbed, you're calling the police, okay? It doesn't affect you, right? You're not getting stabbed. You're just going to keep driving and you're going to go home and you'll probably be fine, but you're going to call the police. Right. So you obviously care about societal issues, even if they don't directly affect you. So explain to me why you care about those. Like, come up with an actual reason, right? If you give me an actual reason for your beliefs and why you believe those, I don't care if we disagree. We can disagree all day. I think like even like me and David, I think we disagree financially a little bit, but he has very good reasoning on why he believes in his financial views, and I have reasoning why I believe in my financial views, and we can kind of disagree. And I don't even think he's necessarily wrong, right?
I don't think you're wrong either.
Yeah, I think there's just, there's different alleyways, and and that's fine because there's reasoning behind that. But when you say, well, I'm just going to go into massive amounts of debt because
I want to.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to live my life a little bit. It's not a fucking reason. That's not a reason.
My dad and I are wired very similarly mentally, and so we get along pretty well in most aspects. But as he's getting older, I've found that we're butting heads a little bit more. in various aspects. But there was one, I was on the phone with him the other day, talking about, you know, my dad is a grown man. I'm a grown man now, but I still look to him for guidance sometimes.
Yeah.
And so whenever we were talking about, like my car and how much I still owe on it, you know, what would be my plan going forward, blah, blah, and how I regretted going into a massive, well, for me anyway, it feels massive when the actual value, it's not very large. And I can clean this up in about a year time. That's my goal. Keep me accountable. But whenever I was talking to him, he said a phrase that kind of irked me because I like to listen to Dave Ramsey's podcast, and you know, I am still kind of Dave-ish, which they frown upon. It means that you're kind of doing what they do, but you still kind of think you know better.
Right.
But what irked me was my dad said, "Yeah, but that was good debt." I was charged 23% interest and was bent over by a certain motor company that I'm not going to mention. And I smiled when I signed that contract.
Right.
But it was because I needed a vehicle that was reliable enough to get me up to the next city that I worked in and back, you know, because my car was failing me. So my dad saw that as good debt, even though I saw it as an asset that was depreciating in value, and it was something that was hindering me from building wealth and from growing and moving forward. They felt like chains on me. My dad said, "No, that was good debt." And it's like,
Yeah.
no, Dad, it's
Yeah.
not. I see what you're saying. And so he challenged me and kind of made me see it as, okay, this gave me the opportunity to keep making my bills and to get a job that paid better and keep it over X amount of time, probably like 2-3 years now. So I get what he was saying,
Right.
but that really only applies to things like real estate. You know, you purchase an asset that increases in value. So like we talked back and forth a little bit about the difference between good debt and bad debt.
Right.
You know, it's not like I went out on credit cards and spent 20 grand in credit cards and maxed them all out at
That's
30% interest.
That would be trash.
If you're doing that, you're trash.
That's
Fix your
trash.
life. But you know, even just between my own dad, my own family, is to have that difference of opinion and a willingness to speak about it. We don't have to be the exact same. So in a that's a roundabout way to say in a social group, you don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to be cookie cutters of each other to have a good social group. I would actually argue it's the opposite. Having everybody in an echo chamber is actually a hindrance to growth because you're not being challenged. You're not giving any reasons as to why you think that way.
Right. You're not expanding your mind and your idea of reality. So just, you know, moving on, and we're going to start closing up here soon because we're kind of tight on time.
Yep.
So the importance of these discussions and the importance of these questions is to understand like the type of people you need around you and the type of people that's required to grow, the type of people to make you the best person that you can possibly be. I think that a lot of people out here don't even understand that their friends are shitty. They don't understand that their friends are like actual trash, that their friends are hindrances. Right? Like they don't understand this, and they don't understand that, you know, there's people around them that inhibit them from being the best person they can possibly be. So that's
you can't
kind of
be afraid to let those people go.
100%.
You
100%.
have to say, like, I'm sorry, you're living your life your way, and it doesn't really agree with how I see the world. I
That
wish you
part-
the best, but bye.
That part of life really does suck is pushing people away. Like it is really hard, but you can't like let yourself be weak because if they're impacting you in a negative way, they need to go.
I do want to point out, if they're not bad people,
They can still be in your life. It's just
it's
like
not like you just need to distance yourself. And like what you'll find, right? What you'll find is you distance yourself from the negative people. Maybe you hang out with them once a month, go to dinner or something. You don't really, you know, they're not your every day or every week guys. You see them every couple of months or whatever. What you'll find is as you move forward and they move backwards, that gap in your relationship starts to widen.
Yep.
Right. And then you'll realize, well, they were
They are
will,
not inner circle people. They are
Right.
outer circle people that will continue to orbit and fall further and further away.
100%, and then they'll kind of just fall to the wayside, and it really won't bother you at the end of it. It's just going to hurt at the beginning, and then at the beginning, every couple of months you see them, you hang out, you talk, maybe you text here and there, but aside from that, you'll move forward, and they'll stay here, and then that gap will widen. So I think the last part of this discussion that we have, and then we can just kind of graze through this. Well, I guess we touched it, but we'll kind of recap it. Why groups are important. Just an open discussion on why groups are important. We'll just kind of go around the table and start with David.
Okay. Why groups are important? Because we are social creatures. We are wired to be together in tribes, back to our earliest ancestors. We are meant to have discussions with other people. We are meant to face struggles that are too big for us to carry alone. We're supposed to face that with other people. We are designed as social creatures to find others like us, similar to us, maybe not like us at all, and be challenged to grow. As iron sharpens iron, you're rubbing those pieces together to make them sharper, and they both get sharper in the process. We're meant to compete with one another. We're meant to communicate with one another. We're meant to uplift each other. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I agree, David. Like I don't think like being an introvert is really a thing. I think it's more like not being very socially adequate, and I believe you have to have people that help build you. And if you have nobody, being alone sucks. Everybody knows that being alone sucks.
Introverts still have their people, and they get peopled out in like large crowds, but that's okay.
Like I don't care who you are. Like you say you like being alone, eventually that's gonna get to you. People have to have people. Like it's always good to have somebody to build on, somebody to go to when things get rough. I think everyone needs it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I touch the introvert thing, I do think there's people that don't necessarily like large crowds or large groups of people. But there's nobody that just doesn't like people. There's nobody that would prefer to be alone every single day of their life.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I meant.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I hate it when someone tells me, "Oh, I'm an introvert." Like, you're probably not an introvert. You probably just want a select few people around you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And as opposed to having like 100 people or 1,000 people, you probably just want a select few people around you that's going to be there for you, and a select few people that you like, but you're still going to want to go out into the world and experience the world and meet new people. Like, you're still going to get excited shaking the hand of someone new and interesting and fun. Right. It's just you may be a little more picky about who you actually want to talk to.
And I mean, you should be like people should be picky about who they keep around. That's like the whole point of this whole podcast that we're doing right now is like, you should be picky about your social circle. Like,
you have to be picky about who's in your inner circle, and you also have to be picky because of your time. Time is the one commodity you will not get back.
The most
are you going to spend it with people that are going to waste it or rip it up in front of you, or are you going to spend it with people that are going to challenge you and uplift you?
The most valuable commodity that will ever exist is time. I always say this, you can't create it. You can't make more of it. It's going away every second. Boom, 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 boom. Time's gone, right? Every second you're losing it. You don't even know how much of it you have. Like, you might have an hour, you might have 10 minutes, you might have 20 minutes. You don't even know how much of it you have.
You might have 14.
Yeah, you might have 14.
If you're running a podcast on a tight schedule.
Yeah, you might have 14. So yeah, the introvert thing, it's kind of weird. Maybe people are just shy, but you can grow out of that. You can develop that. And we've had discussions about that on the podcast with the France episode. If you guys want to check that out, conversation with Go Carter Go. Yeah, so that's all we have. So, any closing thoughts, anything you guys want to say?
I think we hit everything, man.
All right. Well, again, we are the Faith is Motivation podcast. Faith is Motivation on everything except for Instagram. We are Faith is Motivation POD. We have a lot of content coming out, especially our TikTok. Our TikTok's about to go up. TikTok's about to go up. We'll have 1,000 followers on TikTok within the next, month or so. So, I mean, I'm saying it right now. Well, what's the date? What's the date?
18th.
Okay, it's February 18th. Let's say March 30th. We'll be at 1,000. We'll be on 1K. Hold me to that. No, we're gonna hold each other to that. No, hold us to that. 1,000 followers on TikTok by March 30th. 100%. Not a doubt in my mind. Actually, not one doubt in my mind. All right. But yeah, so follow us on that and help me out with that substantial claim. We need 500 more. So faith and motivation on everything. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Deuce.
Peace.